Hey everyone, Mario Records here, and obviously I'm sure you can tell this isn't the usual setup because we are in the Geno's Music studio right now. What's up, man? Thanks for being on here.
What's good, brother?
Alright, and it's been a minute since we've done a tier list, and I thought to make this one more interesting, to bring back the tier list, the video where I got the most hate on the channel. I got sent hate from Canada. I remember that comment, whoever sent it, if you're watching this again, I remember it. I was actually busy myself. I don't remember who said it, but I just remember the comment. That was a very controversial video, so you know what, we're running it back.
You're running it back with someone even more controversial.
Exactly, there's gonna be some good banter in this video. There are definitely some albums here that we do not agree on.
Hell no.
So let's get right into this 2020's album tier list. Now, first up, we got Certified Lover Boy by Drake.
Okay, should I start?
Yeah, you start because...
Keep the temperamental one first, you know what I mean? And then, like, obviously you might crash out. But what I was going to say, I fucking love CLB. CLB is one of my favorite Drake albums, and a lot of people give it hate. From day dot, I loved it, and I hate everyone turning around now and saying that. I know you're not one of them, but I'm saying... A lot of people have come around. It's become a big TikTok album. I'm like, chill. You weren't there from the start. I love CLB. This is tough. I might have to say... Fuck. I was going to put it in A, but I'm actually debating S tier.
Alright, I need to come in here. Now, listen. Do I think that this album is like complete dog shit like people make it out to be? No, I do not. You have insanely high highs on here with a Champagne Poetry, which I think you can agree with me is a top 10 Drake song. That is an incredible intro. That is also arguably his best intro since Tuscan Leather. You also have some really good songs on here, like You Only Live Twice, the sequel to The Motto. I think that's a fantastic track. You're finally getting the Cudi collab on here. You have some good collaborations on here, but the album it is so bloated.
But what would you cut?
Well, first of all, I can say that Way Too Sexy and the song...
Way Too Sexy bangs! Way Too Sexy went number one,
who cares
if it went number one? I'm not saying that's a good argument, but I'm saying Way Too Sexy is fucking fire.
But in my opinion, that and the song with Baby, they are two of the two of the worst Drake songs I've ever heard.
But dude,
exactly,
you know what? Like,
cringy bars like that. It's also just got...
So you would cut two songs, and alright, where would you place it though? What are you thinking? Because
hang on, I want to finish my thoughts. The album track list needs a serious shaving down, because if he shaved it down and kept those really good tracks, then it would be... I'd place it higher. I don't think it's a D tier, but...
Definitely not a D tier. If you would only cut two tracks, how can you say it needs major shaving?
I think I'd go C tier, so you'd go A, so then we'd have to meet at B, correct?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
I'd personally go C tier. I think it's like... It's good at best.
I just really fucking love it, and I think the two that you're cutting, obviously Girls Want Girls less than Way Too...
They're not the only two I'm cutting. I think that there's a lot...
That's the first two that come to mind. That's fine.
Just because I genuinely do not like those songs.
That's fair enough, but I was going to say Way Too Sexy...
Like, if you want a good romantic track on the album, you've got Pipe Down and things like that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they're like romantic tracks. Maybe Girls Want Girls was intended like that. I get why you don't like that. I still fuck with it. Do I listen to it as much as some other things? No. But, no, I genuinely think Way Too Sexy, when I'm in the club and I hear Way Too Sexy, it hits. That beat fucking hits.
Music in the club will just hit different. Regardless.
That's what I mean, though.
Yeah, but like,
this album has so many that hit in the club. You know what I mean?
Alright, whatever. We've ranked it now.
Imagine,
move on to the next.
Yeah, we've ranked it, but TSU hits, besides that 3-minute intro, if that hit, she moved out of state, she going left.
You just said the problem, the 3-minute intro.
That's my biggest gripe on the album, honestly. Anyway, continue.
Let's go. The Melodic Blue by Baby Keem.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I think that this was a great debut for not only Baby Keem, but the PG Lang label as a whole. You were getting standout tracks on here. Obviously, like A Family Ties with Kendrick, and the cultural moment that was, just for the hip-hop landscape. That was such an incredible thing to witness. But then also Keem's performances are so unpredictable, going from something like a South Africa... Or looking at Coco with Don Toliver, there's great chemistry there. Do-Rag Activity with Travis. I love Keem and Travis as a duo. Every feature on this album does their thing, but even looking at the Keem solo tracks, like as the aforementioned South Africa or 16, Keem is giving you these great melodic performances that give you this really moody atmosphere as well. I think it's such a great album. I personally don't have any gripes with the track list. Do I think it's a perfect album? No, I do think something like a Pink Panties is.
I love Pink Panties.
It's not bad, but
The
like
song,
yeah,
by the way, the song.
it's not bad, but like you know, I just think it's not on par with a lot of the other tracks. It's not a bad song by any means, but for me, I'd go A tier with the Melodic Blue. I think it's a fantastic album.
I was going to say the only thing I disagree with you there is about Pink Panties. I fucking love that song. I love how... I don't know who's doing the deep voice, whether that's just him
I think
edited.
it's Keen with a vocal filter.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that, but...
No, I think you're probably right, but
Yeah.
I really like that song. There's a lot of tracks I like. The Brent Fighters collab, what was that called? Lost Souls?
Yeah, Lost Souls,
But
yeah.
that's
Lost
not the
Souls
original one, is
yeah.
it? He did one by himself.
Yeah.
I like both versions, to be honest, and I find it's always impresses me when someone can do... a song by themselves and then have a feature and it's kind of like you like both of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not like the feature overly carried, even though Brent was fantastic. I would agree with you on A, to be honest.
A.
I would even consider giving it S, because only for the reason that I can't think of anything that I find wrong with it. But I think I'm happy with A. I'm really happy with A.
Yeah, the reason I'm not going S is because I'm looking at what's coming up, and there are
Yeah, I
like
agree. That's the same
undeniable
as me.
ones that I definitely have over the Melodic Blue, but that doesn't discredit it at all.
Yeah, I completely agree. You also have to think of, alright, if you line it up with one of the later ones, would you be happy with it being there?
Yeah. All right, Whole Lotta Red.
S,
Influence, yeah, S tier, but I don't know. Now we're gonna get flamed for this if we don't.
Just put it
No,
in
you
S.
give your
Save
thoughts. You
channel,
give your
mate.
thoughts because
I've got 17 subs. I can say whatever.
Yeah, go.
Nah, real talk. I actually fuck with Whole Lotta Red. Something that I find very interesting is a lot of the tracks, you know the melodies. Like when you click through randomly, you might not listen to it a lot, right? Like I know I don't listen to it a lot, and I assume you don't listen to it a lot either.
No.
But you listen through and you're like, oh shit, I hear this all the time.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
TikTok background music, it's YouTube background music, goes hard in the club. When I was at Travis, some of the hardest songs that the DJ was playing first were from this album. So I can't hate on the album. I'm definitely not going to put it in D, but I also would not let it touch S. It's going to be somewhere in the middle, but the lower end, I would say C.
I'm good with C as well. Now, I feel like it suffers a lot of track list bloat, and obviously the influence is undeniable. So I think C is fair.
C is fair, but I would also go as far to say that a couple of those tracks are like B to A worthy. I really fuck
there are
with
some
them.
all-time Cardi tracks on it, but all right. Next up,
Alfredo,
Freddie Gibbs. Do I even need to speak on this? I've spoken about it before on the channel, but this is an S tier album. Arguably one of the... this is my opinion.
No, but I'm saying this is about to be crazy.
All right. You are getting all-time Alchemist production on something to rap about. Frank Lucas. 1985, Freddie's cadence on God Is Perfect as well. Like, what more is there to say? It's top tier rapping. Every feature delivers. Whether that be Rick Ross, Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, also giving a more personal verse than what you're used to, rapping about his kids. Of course, Tyler coming into the mix. And then Benny ripping it on Frank Lucas. Like, I cannot overstate how good this album is. It is incredible. It's perfectly sequenced as well. It's not bloated. Every track belongs there. Incredible production from Al, like the sample flip on a Look at Me, which is one of the more low-key tracks, which says a lot. Yeah, in my opinion, this is an S-tier album.
I respect it completely. Now, I'm going to have to piss you off a bit.
I literally had to go like Thanos, and I don't want to have to be the villain.
So for me, I was going to say, I appreciate that you shine the light on Benny's feature, because that was my album highlight from that album. I still think about that feature. And I'm a big fan of Benny. Not that I'm like against this album. I do really like this album. I think production is fantastic. You can't go wrong there. But I feel like for me, there's not much replay value. I don't listen to this album a lot. When I do listen to it, it's like I'm going through, I'll listen to the whole album, and I feel like a lot of the tracks feel the same, which is like, that's the vibe that they're trying to create. It's that dark, gritty vibe. That's what they're all about. And I love that. I do. But for me, it's going to hurt. But I gotta say, man, I would have even put this in C.
No.
I would have put it in C.
Listen. They're not all dark and gritty. Like, a Skinny Suge, yes, but then you've got to look at me as something to rap about. Even the intro, 1985, that's not that. That's
but the feel is... No, 1985 is my favourite track, right? Followed by...
Those guitars.
I'd say the first 3-track run is probably the best of the album, in my opinion. And then you've probably got... like 2 others that I'm like, wow, I really like that. You know what I mean? I would say I will put it in B. The reason I say C is just replay value for me. The quality of the album sits at B, but the C is my replay value because I just don't listen to it.
That's crazy.
So we can go
That's
A.
the replay value on this for me is perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
it's-
that's what
yeah,
you listen
I know,
to.
I know.
For me, it's like,
Yeah.
there's nothing in here that I can be banging in the whip or I can be banging in the club. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing in here that I like bang.
that shouldn't
is
merit where you can play an album shouldn't merit like its quality.
No,
Like,
I get
obviously,
that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not quality, but for me, how can I enjoy an album that I can't listen to? Like, first listen experience is tremendous. I loved listening to this for the first time, and I still do like listening to it whenever I'm in the mood to listen to it. But I find I don't have as equal access to this album as the other albums on this list. I just don't have a vibe to listen to it all the time.
It's so different because for me,
I
I
know.
play this album like weekly. Like,
But
songs
what
from this
are you
album.
doing when you listen? Lying in bed?
Like, I might just consciously turn on the album, just flick through it, or I might listen to it when I'm on the train on my way to uni or something. Like, I listen to this album a lot, and something to rap about is like one of my most played songs ever.
Don't.
Yeah.
I know you're very big on Alchemist. Is it more because of his production?
No, it's
or
both. Freddie's
for
performances are top tier,
Yeah.
and then you're getting top tier Alchemist production as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. But for me, it's all based on I just don't listen to this much. I don't have much, like, I don't have many experiences that warrant me to listen to it.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Alright, so where would you go with it?
Originally, I think
Yeah.
the quality for me sits at B, but C is like replay value, so I'm happy to settle for B, and then you said S, so we can put it in A.
Yeah.
And I'll be fine with that.
Alright, fine. That should be S tier, but it's alright, it's alright.
But S to A is not a bad drop. You can't, it's not like
one.
it ended
Okay.
up. I didn't put
There's
it in
one
B.
album coming up that I'm not letting you put anywhere other than S. We'll get there when we get there.
Alright.
And that is Vultures 2! S tier! No, I'm joking.
Okay, let's talk Vultures 2. So we actually made a video on my channel about Vultures 2, and we were talking about how overall it was disappointing. And the reason I was disappointed, we have a lot of similar reasons, but my main reason was because I saw the potential in that album. There's a lot of good tracks on this album that just halfway through go to shit. Or there's a fucking AI track. And you're like, what's going on? This could have been so much better. I don't think it deserves to be in D just because there are some highlights. I would personally put it in C.
I'm going D. This album is unfinished. You're getting yay I on it. What other than River, I don't think there's anything of value because he ruined things like Sky City with the AI.
But you liked Sky City as it was.
No,
just the
I
concept.
liked the original version, the leaked version before the yay I was implemented. The mixing on this album is horrible. It is sequenced horribly. When it dropped, having a husband twice. No, this shit get out of hand.
I want to hear Husband in the Club. No,
there
real talk.
isn't anything salvageable other than River, just because River's a great song. I'll stand by that.
Yeah,
Say what
River's
you will
fire.
about the rest
I
of the
fuck
album.
with
but
Field Trip though. I know you're not the biggest Field Trip
I don't
fan,
mind
but
Field Trip either.
Field Trip is hard.
decent. Field Trip is decent. But 2 songs out of how many? Like,
I fuck with a few
That's
more,
a-
but
that's
I respect
a negative
it.
hit and
Like,
miss
I can't
ratio.
complain about it being in D.
Yeah.
Personally, I put it in C, but like I don't know where we go from that. We can
Ye, I don't even think Ye fucks with the album.
potentially.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why it was released, to be honest.
Yeah.
That kind of pisses me off. A bit like how I feel like Donda 2 was thrown to the wind.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
not-
Donda 2 situation. It's the exact same, kind of. This got an official release.
What are we gonna
I'm
do?
D. I can't fathom
That's
putting...
I can take that. We can agree on D.
Yeah. And there was no Aldi mention, so D. Alright,
Mr.
I'm
Morale,
not
I know-
budging from S. I'm not budging from S.
You know what I was gonna say earlier? I actually went and listened through, not fully, but I listened to a bit of every single album here just to refresh myself.
Yeah.
Mr. Morale, it's one of the few albums I remember dropping because I remember sitting at my desk and listening to it, and when the first drums kicked in...
On United and Great, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about them.
I've been drumming my whole life, so that was like, fuck, this is insane. I will agree to put it in S. Personally, I would have put it on the very edge of A into S for one reason. There are like 3 tracks on this album that I never listened to, which are Mother I Sober, We Cry Together, and Mirror. And I don't even think Mirror is bad. Listen, I don't think Mirror is
You're
bad.
bumping Auntie Diaries.
No, not Auntie Diaries, sorry. I fucking hate Auntie Diaries. So 4. Mirror's not a bad track. I just don't really listen to it. The other 3 are shit tracks. But the highs on this album are so high. That's why I'm kind of like... I was going through and every hit's like, oh, banger, banger. Remember the Concept, Purple Hearts hits, banger. I can't. I'll agree to put it in S.
All right,
I'm fine
this
with
is
that.
where a huge phone call coming. This is where a huge disagreement is coming in. Mother I Sober is anything but a shit track. That is one of the most.
No, but it's dead.
No, it's not. It's
Where's
so
the energy?
That's the point. It's such a powerful track about overcoming that generational trauma. And when Whitney gives him that like confirmation that he accomplished his mission with the album, like I tear up hearing that, and Uzi speaking to him. It's such a raw, it's a hard listen. I'm not denying that. It's a confronting, just Kendrick's laying it all out, and that's across the entire album. Auntie Diaries has such original subject matter as well. Like I've never heard songs period like the ones on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, because you're getting this blend of tracks like this that is so just confronting or emotionally driven, like the aforementioned two, or We Cry Together, which I'm not going back and listening to We Cry Together outside of the album.
No, it fits the album.
Yeah,
that's why,
exactly.
but it's not like obviously
like that's
not
crazy hearing Kendrick rap over a Griselda-esque beat. But like you said, this album does have those high energy tracks that you could,
100%,
sit and vibe out to if that's your thing, like a Purple Hearts or
Silent Hill.
and Silent Hill, exactly, and 95. And 95 is so good. And the messaging on this album as well, going through everything from Kendrick's vulnerability, like a 444, or like Jay-Z did on 444, admitting that he had cheated on Whitney, or the things about generational trauma that Kendrick and other people have experienced, Kendrick's family and other people have experienced before. Not to mention Mirror, which really shows you, sorry, I'm like, there's a million thoughts.
No, it's alright.
Mirror is the perfect outro because you spend all this time with Kendrick working through these issues. Mirror sees himself looking in the mirror and seeing someone freed from all this shit that was bogged down on him. And it shows the importance of putting yourself first and working on you, because if you don't work on yourself, then what good are you to others? Which is why, again, he's not giving into others' expectations, which is why there was the 5-year gap as well between this and Damn. The subject matter on this album is perfect. Everything about it to me is perfect. And
I respect that, and I know how much this album means to you.
Yeah,
I would never put it lower than A. I wouldn't even let it sit middle A. For me, that's why
I'll budge if we go, as long as we go S here with this. I'll budge for you on something else.
Just listen.
Okay.
I am putting it in S.
Okay, good.
The only thing keeping it from S were the 3 tracks that are... Mirror wouldn't even keep it from S to me, because as you said, it ties everything in so well. It's a great way to end the album. But just because of replay value, like I don't bump Mirror, I was like, I'll throw it in with the rest. I'm happy to exclude that, right? But the 3 that I still stand by, I will never, like, I just can't listen to Mother I Sober. And this is my only argument. I still think it's a good, like, the subject matter makes it a good song. The song itself is just unlistenable for me. But I will say, the only argument I could present is, I guess, he can still talk about deep subject matter on a song that's more listenable, like Father Time.
Yeah,
which I know you
how
love
did I
as well.
forget about Father Time? Yeah, that's an incredible song. That Sampha hook, also the features on this album.
Features
I feel like
fire.
everybody delivers, whether that be Sampha on that like angelic hook. Ghostface Killer's got a really great verse as well on Purple Hearts. I loved a lot of the subject matter in that.
As I was saying, more than happy for it to go S. It deserves S. It's just the 3 tracks for me that kind of bring it to the baseline of A, like the very tip of A. And that's why it's tough when you've got S, A, B, C, D. Although, like, S helps a lot. Something you might put in A, like, I think Mr. Morale is higher than a lot of the albums that we will put in A, probably later in this video. No, just because, like, you might have 10 songs in A, that doesn't mean that the 9th song you put in is any worse than the 3rd song you put in. That's why this is tough. But yeah, Mr. Morale is certainly, it's S value.
Let's go S.
Let's do S.
Alright, King of the Mischievous South, Volume 2 by Denzel Curry.
Hell yeah. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I know this is your favourite Denzel album, correct?
This is my favourite Denzel album. And I was like, I remember Denzel, we used to do bottle flip challenges to Denzel's music back in the day.
Yeah, like 2015, like with Ultimate.
100%.
Oh, 2016.
2016, yeah, that was the era, man. So we have countless montages, and he was kind of an artist that was always in the background of stuff for me. Like, he was in the Freshman Cypher. He was always doing freestyles I'd watch online, but he was never someone I listened to. Noah pushed me to listen to this album, and I was like, alright, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it, right? And this album bangs. This is a hard fucking album. I talk so much about things that you can listen to, and this is one of the albums that was constantly went diamond in my car. I was playing this album so much. It's perfect rider music. I literally define this as rider music. Do I think it's S? I can't put it in S.
I agree. It's not S.
A.
It's not S, and let me just say this. This is one of like the best Ox albums
100%
of the decade so far. Denzel is just going in. He's ripping everything. These are such like good anthems. Black Flag Freestyle especially. Be that his verse, or then that fucking crazy Mexican OT verse. The Towley line as well. That was funny as fuck. G's Up. I love that. Ultra Shit as an intro is great.
Even the deluxe has bangers
Yeah.
too.
Actor damn fuck. Denzel did his thing on this album. I think what's keeping it from S tier, and I think you can agree, is just the subject matter. It's like Denzel's not going as dense as he was with something like A Melt My Eyes.
It's more fun. It's a fun album.
Exactly. It's a good change of pace for him. Melt My Eyes is his magnum opus in my opinion, but this is an extremely solid effort. A tier, definitely.
AT? That's the first one I think we've 100%
Yeah,
agreed
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's go.
This one's interesting.
This might be a steamy one.
All right, Death of Slim Shady. M's first album since Music to Be Murdered By, which was also released this decade, but I think Death of Slim Shady is the stronger output from him this decade, and that's why I wanted to include this. I loved how we, for the first 13 tracks, we actually got a conceptual story, starting with that wrestle with M and Shady and ending in Guilty Conscious 2, where he finally puts Shady to rest, and then we get more seriously driven subject matter for the last 5 tracks of the album. You were getting like all-time M performances in my opinion on something like a Fuel, which is a great collaboration between him and JID. That is like this lyrical wrestle, which is just so amazing to hear. I'm so happy Jid got that placement. I'm gonna keep saying that in every video I talk about this album. That's one of my favorite songs of the decade actually. Renaissance, getting like an 0203 Eminem coming back rapping about the state of the hip-hop scene and how everybody's just hating regardless of who it is on all these legends, be that Kendrick, Cole, Ye, Wayne, even himself or Joyner. Incredible. And I think unlike Donda 2 or a lot of other albums that have incorporated AI, this was done very tastefully with M just using it to bring back that classic Shady voice. And it was more for assistance because he can actually do the video, the voice, but I feel like it's just to like get it to that perfect point. And obviously you've got accessible tracks on here like a Houdini, which is great callback to Without Me, being like a sort of sequel to it. Music video was great.
No, I was just going to say, I really loved this album. This is another first listen which was powerful. It's like, wow. Obviously 2 tracks I don't listen to a lot because of the names, but besides that, they're still hard beats. You had fucking Dr. Dre cooking a beat. I loved that. There are a few things that disappointed me about this album, though, which are kind of like, they don't really change my rating, but number 1, we didn't get more Dre and M. Number 2, and we didn't get Dre rapping. I really wanted to see that. Number 2, no 50 Cent. Those things really upset me, because I was like, how are you not going to have, like, Slim Shady and 50 Cent? That was the era.
I do kind of agree. I feel like the features, I have no complaints. Because I'm happy that we got Sean, I'm happy we got Jid, that they were well executed. I just think a Cole feature or a Kendrick feature, like, long overdue for a second Kendrick feature, and just even more long overdue for the Cole feat. But I understand what you're saying about the features. Like, it would have been great to have seen Dre on here, great to have seen 50, but...
I think just overall, it would have been better if there were... Like, I don't have a problem with him linking up with country singers. Like, I like the tracks... where like Somebody Save Me,
but
it's not really, for me it's not Slim Shady material. That's more like,
but that's the point, because it comes at the Marshall end of the album, like when Shady's
I get that like Death of Slim Shady, yeah, it works, but I wanted more rap features, to be honest. Like I fuck with those tracks, but I feel like if you could have sprinkled a few more rappers in the album, it would have taken it to the next level.
But where are you thinking of putting it?
I personally have to say B.
Okay. I'm around S or A, so I'm happy to go A.
Only reason, this is something I want to poke you on for a second, right? I think, obviously, even, let's say we both agreed on S. Could you really put it up there with his first 3?
No.
So how can you put it in S?
This S is for the decade so far. Yeah, like
for this decade. Yeah. Okay, I see.
Obviously, if we were doing a holistic hip hop, like
that's kind of how I see it. I say if it's going.
Okay, we can do it like that then. I'm fine with going A though.
Yeah, I was.
I personally, like, my personal rotation, I'd go S.
S?
No, I wasn't locked. I was around S and A.
Okay, then I'm happy to go A.
Okay.
Because I was in B.
This one's going to be interesting because I don't know where you stand on that, and that is The Off Season by J. Cole.
Alright, so do you want to go first or you want me to go first? I feel like I know what you're going to say, so maybe
when I heard this album for the first time and 95 South started and Cole was this, like, that song, when I heard it, I was just like, yeah, this is the best rapper alive right now. And he continued just rapping at this elite level for the entire thing. It is concise, it is to the point, replay value is perfect for me, and you were also getting a mix of tracks. You're getting those high energy, just fucking pure rapping performances, like an Applying Pressure, Punch in the Clock, or a Close. Close is so underrated. The subject matter on that is great, and how he continues the whole song with the word close or words that rhyme with it. And then you're also getting those more substantive tracks, like Let Go of My Hand, talking about how he knows his son is going to grow up one day and be his own man, or Hunger on Hillside, which is just about not letting up and just continuing down your path no matter of what obstacles come your way. And that's my thoughts on the album. I have no complaints with The Off Season, but
I love The Off Season.
Yeah.
I remember listening to The Off Season as well, and I remember when you were like 3 tracks ahead, and I remember you telling me, "Oh, wait for this track, wait for that track." And I find it's always a great experience when you're talking to someone and you're both like, "Oh, I like this track," or "I like that track," and you like, we bounce off each other a lot with a lot of these albums, and this is one that generated a lot of conversation. I really enjoyed it at the time. I still enjoy it, but I really don't listen to it much anymore. I would say back then I would have considered like high tier A. Now I'll just put it in A. What are you thinking?
S or A around then.
What, do you want to agree on A?
Yeah, I'm happy with A.
Let's go.
Because, like, obviously subject matter wise, it's not as strong as a Mr. Morale, but I just think it's such a well put together project.
It's fantastic.
Like, I can't name a flaw with Cole's rapping. Features do their thing. No, I have no complaints. All right.
Now this one's
going to be interesting. Come Home, The Kids Miss You by Jack Harlow.
Okay, no, I'll start on this one.
You start.
This one excited me. I'm a big supporter of Jack Harlow. Even before Jack Harlow blew, I was listening to Jack Harlow. So let me just state that. This album gets a lot of hate, and I fucking love this album. I even bought this album on vinyl. It's got one of my favorite Drake verses of all time on Churchill Downs.
I'll say this now. That Drake verse is incredible. I can't fault that. I can't fault Churchill Downs. Like, Drake smokes that feature.
That feature, I remember that I was fucking sitting on the toilet playing it from my computer because I didn't want to miss it. Like I did not want to miss this feature. If I start that song, I'm finishing it. I have to hear that Drake feature. And yeah, this album, I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed a lot of this album. I feel like everything fits. And I think he kind of went out of his comfort zone with this album. He did something different. And that's why he probably got the slap for it. And now he's changed up a lot. People say he tried going too mainstream. I don't really agree. He had Pharrell on a track, and that track does not feel mainstream to me. I would actually go... this is tough. I would have given this A, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. This is covered down now. This album, in my opinion, it has 2 great tracks in Nail Tech and Churchill Downs, and the rest of me is just kind of like... It's just like... He could have done so much more. This was coming off the heels of like everyone rallying around him. You had Ye putting him on Donda 2. You had Nail Tech going crazy. And Nail Tech is a great song. High energy. But then, I don't know. I feel like apart from Drake, the features weren't well executed. You're getting cringy bars from Jack throughout it.
Like what?
The 100 grand one on Churchill Downs.
Okay,
so I'm not going to pull 100 grand down. Just stuff like that.
That was dead. I don't know why he said that to me.
Like, some of the melodies and choruses is hitting... they're alright, like a side piece or whatever, but I don't know. For an album called Come Home, The Kids Miss You, I liked what he did on Jack Mem, where it was more personal, and that's kind of what I expected from this album. It's just kind of flat album, and I'm glad Jack is realizing, like in that freestyle that he put out recently, that he hasn't put out anything undeniable, because he's got so much potential. Like, I'm in support of like all artists and them improving. Like, I'm never gonna hate on an artist, and I just wanted to see everybody achieve like the best that they can. But I don't know. I just feel like this album wasn't it, and I'd go C tier personally.
I want to actually change my what I was going to press forward, because as much as I really like this, I'm looking at some of the albums in the list, and I'm kind of like, I would put it at B.
Yeah.
But I was like, so I'm happy to meet at B because obviously you're
B?
at C, I was at A.
A,
I'd
okay.
come down to B. I was even going to change to B before because I'm kind of like, although when I said A, I was more thinking B, but I was thinking of the tracks that I loved so much, and then I started thinking, oh well, there's a couple that I don't really listen to either. So I think B is more fitting. But it's,
do you think it's closer in quality to Whole Lotta Red or Certified Lover
I think
Boy?
CLB shits on a lot of albums, bro. So for me, that was
I know, but like personally for you, what do you think it's closer to? Because I know how much you like CLB.
Definitely Whole Lotta Red though, because like CLB is pretty untouchable.
Then don't
for
you
me.
think that it should go C tier then? Because if it's not on the
No, but here's the thing. I agreed on B tier as a compromise with you.
Yeah, okay,
right?
yeah, no, I get that,
I would have had CLB at like A and possibly S, right?
Crazy.
So for me, I feel like this album belongs in B. I literally just forgot the name for a second. Come Home, the Kids Miss You. I will put that in B because but I do like Whole Lotta Red.
And look
tracks
at what
as
else
well.
is coming up as well. I feel like B tier. I don't know.
If Whole Lotta Red wasn't there, it would make this a lot easier. But I also I really should remember the name. I'm poor with names, but the song with the glamour, First Class. I fucking love First Class.
So that that song was just like elevator music.
How? Okay, Miss Jackson or Miss Johnson or whatever it's called.
Miss Jackson.
No, it's Johnson. His version.
Oh,
not
his
Outcast,
okay,
I was
okay,
like,
yeah, okay, that one. I thought you were about to diss Outcast. I got scared.
That's random as fuck.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that is elevator music. This
was like the precursor to it though, and it sort of like paved a way for this sort of this like not good little pocket of hip hop where it was just like, okay, sample this well-known pop song.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I don't think this sits there. I hate when people, and a lot of it happens in like drill. You know, they just take a 2000 song and do that, and they drill on it. But no, this I really fucked with that. I think it's chill.
Alright, so you want to go B? It's like whatever.
I'm gonna go B.
I'd go C. Should we flip a coin? No, I'm joking.
No, let's flip a coin. Let's flip a coin then. Let's do it. Ask Siri.
No,
On
I've
a
got an
50-50,
actual
we should
coin.
flip a coin. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, if it goes B, I'm not gonna like have a fit. It's
Yeah, me
one
neither.
tier
I
above,
really
but
don't care.
Look, it's
I
not
really
on the
don't.
level of Vultures 2, but it's also not in above C in my opinion. All right, we got the coin here. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads.
So we're saying B.
B. Yep. All right.
And look, B and C, like, there's not really much of a huge difference.
They're kind of they're kind of blurred together now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Donda by Ye.
Donda by
Very interesting and polarizing album because, like CLB or Whole Lotta Red that we spoke about before, this album needs a serious trimming down. It is incredibly bloated. You didn't need a bunch of the part twos. I think you can agree with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
But at the same time, the highs on this album, holy fuck.
They're insane.
Holy
man.
fuck.
It's insane.
Life of the Party, what a fucking song. That 3 Stacks verse, fuck being one of the best of the decade. That's one of the best feature verses ever. Keep My Spirit Alive. The sampling Ye does on Believe What I Say. You're getting, and the features on this album as well. I just spoke about 3 Stacks. There's so much going on. You're getting 3 Stacks. You were getting Griselda. You were getting fucking Cardi. Like, he got the whole industry basically on this album. Trav, Keem, praise
The
God.
Weeknd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was
throw
going
it
to bring him in. Hurricane as well, getting that Yandi leak, but he just elevated, took it to the next level with that Weekend hook. But then you have these high highs, like I've been saying, but then you come down and you've got stuff like Okay or Remote Control. And it's like, yay, you were so close to having like a top tier album in your discography. What are you thinking with this?
So, to go on, I think majority of the best tracks on this album are within the first 10, and then they're scattered. Like,
Exactly.
Life
It's a
of the
very-
Party's
it's-
lower in the album as well.
It's not a well-sequenced album.
No, but I would say there are still some tracks which are No Child Left Behind.
Oh, of course.
Like,
Incredible.
that's a levitating type of song.
Moon. Oh my god, how can we not talk about Moon?
I fuck with 24. Not everyone likes 24.
I love 24 as well.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many highlights. I'm actually...
Great performances and subject matter throughout it as well, and the whole Jesus Lord thing, and the whole motif of just keeping your faith close and letting God guide you, of course.
Let's put Donda Chant aside for a second. Let's talk about the first track we deal with, Jail. Jail is probably
my
one of my
God.
favorite intros ever on a rap album. I actually...
Jail gave me like when I heard that in the listing party, I got goosebumps. I don't. People say it's underproduced. I don't care. That's like it
Fuck
forces
no.
you to focus on the verses. I love the performances on that.
God,
Yeah.
in my cell. That's my celly. God, in my cells, so. Dude, every bar dropped on that track was fire. I fucking loved seeing the throne back, bro. Seeing the throne back was just special to me. And you as well. Like, when you see Ye and Jay get together, you know it's going to be fire. The only thing that keeps it from S for me is just being bloated.
Yeah, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go A. See,
I'm in A.
See,
I'm
in
on
my
A.
opinion, this album is well above what we've got in B and C. It is closer to the level of what's on A. It's just like I can't consciously put it in B with what's there. Like that's just my
that's
opinion.
what I mean. So that's why I feel like it deserves
we
A.
kind of fucked up with that. We needed another tier. I feel like.
Oh, you could add thousands of tiers.
I know. I'm good with A though because the highs
same.
are so high on this album.
The highs are insane.
Although the lows are just the fucking Pop Smoke track. Oh no. But
was
like,
that even on, or was
Yeah.
that? I thought that was on the deluxe.
no, well, still, Life of the Party was only the deluxe. I'm doing like the whole thing holistically.
Yeah, fair. No, I really enjoyed a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even, I'm not that bothered about the lows, but I think when you're taking an album into consideration, especially for ranking, if you don't listen to like 10 tracks on the album frequently or even at all, you can't really give it an S tier rating. But yeah, definitely A. It really deserves A.
All right, G and X.
GNX, do you want something or miss that?
You start this one. I started Donda.
So I hadn't slept in 3 days, and I woke up. Well, didn't wake up, but I just decided fuck this at like 5, 6 in the morning, and I opened my phone and it's like Kendrick dropped, and I was like, oh, what now? And I saw just the GNX, like the Instagram track, and I was like, oh, I actually like this, whatever. Nobody said anything about an album, and I just go on Spotify anyway, about to get ready. And I open Spotify and I say, oh shit, he actually dropped an album. So I start like bombing Noah with texts. I was like, get the fuck up, whatever. It was a stupid time to be up anyway. So I got on the road. Fuck was that? Anyway, so I'm listening to this album now. I'm driving on the road. No one's out. And it was just like, as soon as he started spitting on the first track and he was dropping names, like when he spoke about Lil Wayne, I was like, damn, because it was so relevant at the time. Not that it's not relevant now, but I'm saying, how the fuck did he do that on an album that, obviously this album would have taken time to create? Everything, I feel like the whole way through the album, he was talking about things that happened recently. And then I started thinking back to like Euphoria and the diss tracks. There were lines in this album, and I'll try and elaborate on this, where I felt like he's been working on this album before the beef, and then he mixed in little like Easter eggs that draw you back to the beef, and then obviously he comments on the beef as well, and we all want to know, you probably do have a theory about this, what the fuck he said when he cuts his mic at the start.
Oh yeah, and Whacked Out Murals.
Yeah. But genuinely, I think there's a lot of bangers on this album. I'm between S and A.
I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. This album, after a couple months, basically, like it's almost 2 months old, like it has not fallen out of rotation for me. What Kendrick did on this needs to be studied. It is his most accessible album, I think, since Good Kid, Mad City, but like obviously the writing is still phenomenal. Something like a Heart Part 6, taking that journey with him from his early days as J-Rock's hype man to where he is now as an executive at TDE. And
that was special, how he spoke
such
about
a special track, and the sampled chorus on that, the Pharrell production, but just like the messaging on it, just like, you know, don't lose connections. If you're wanting to go on your own path and it might affect some people, don't let that happen. Like, if that's your family, you know, piece it up. Like, not piece it up. Have a heart-to-heart, have a handshake, like, have the conversation. It's such important messaging. And then Gloria as well, the incredible use of personification, like, it's reminiscent of a Nas track, like, I Gave You Power. And then, of course, like, Whacked Out Murals, that is a vicious opening. And, like, I have not stopped playing songs like that. Squabble Up, you're getting the whole West Coast production and feel to the album, the West Coast bounce. And of course, like, he's putting on West Coast artists like a Dottie Six, a Peso, Lefty Gunplay. I loved how he did that. SZA has great choruses on it. Luther's going fucking stupid right now. I've got a friend, shout out to Leo, who is currently in Italy. And on the Italian radio, they are playing Luther, which is just crazy, and just goes to show you the quality of this album. So,
yeah, I just want to talk a bit more about this album, because I really fucking love this album. I was going to say, as a Drake fan and someone who backed Drake in the beef, The one thing that I thought was really masterful from this album is that he did something that, like, killed the big argument, where he was like, the main thing that you'll push when you're talking about Drake versus Kendrick is you say, Kendrick doesn't have anything you can play in the club, which I disagree with that, but it's obviously a big argument. And then he came out and gave you a solid 4 or 5 tracks on this album, which, I'd say even the big 3 on this album that just bump in the club.
Like,
you can't
they've got
anymore.
the impact of Squabble Up, TV Off, and Luther.
Luther's
nuts.
But even like
and the more low key tracks, like a Hey Now, that fucking
that
bridge,
Hey
the
Now is
instrumental
insane.
shift, incredible. Just Kendrick is talking his shit and making it known. No more disrespect. I am that guy. Yeah.
It's fire. I would say, you know what? Actually, you got to talk about the negative. For me, the only negative, probably one of the worst Kendrick tracks I've ever heard was GNX.
I'm okay with that because of what it did for, like, the whole point of it was to put on the
I get that, but he
yeah.
could have put them on a track that was good. Like, that track was
I don't mind
arse.
it. It's unique.
It's not that his rapping is bad. The fucking beat is atrocious. It's just like it's off.
But that's one.
That's one, and that's why I'm not making a big deal out of it.
I'm happy to go S. Like, I personally, for my rotation, my opinion, it's S. I know this is a bit late in the video, but these are our opinions, not yours. So, you know, just say what you want.
No,
but
100%. And obviously the final list is subject to tug of war. So, like, someone might see a fucking Cardi album in C and be like, what the fuck? But, like,
I'm just awaiting those.
It's going everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, our individual lists look completely different. So this is not only a mesh list.
Also, there is bias being brought into this.
100%. But also, I've got to respect the fact that, like, of course, my allegiance is still with Drake. But GNX is undoubtable, and I would even. Like, when I start thinking about does it deserve to be an S, I start measuring up to Mr. Morale, because we already put that in S, and I was like, fuck yeah, it definitely does.
I think messaging-wise, obviously Mr. Morale is, like, leagues above, but, like...
Yeah, but
GNX
for me, that doesn't really matter.
It's a different album, but, like, quality-wise, I think they're both...
I'm completely happy with that.
Kendrick's my GOAT with Cole and M, so, like, I have to have
I knew you wanted to put it in S, but, like, obviously I'll say my opinion if it's my opinion. I really feel like it does deserve S.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with A, but I think, why not give it S, you know what I mean? Any reason I wouldn't put it in S is just... like, defending Drake, because I love Drake, and, well, one track's not going to make a difference, because there's 3 on Mr. Morale I don't listen to, and I'm still fine to give it S.
Also, look at this, we're the proof that, like, the two fan bases can coexist.
100%.
Kendrick, Drizzy, look.
We keep the peace, guys, keep the peace.
It's not our beef, it's their beef.
It's their 100%. You should enjoy the music, don't let anyone stop you. I'm bumping GNX, man. GNX bangs, but I'll die for Drake, right to the end for Drake. Anyway, let's move on. I just got one word for this instantly before we start.
I already know
this
what
is instantly S for me.
Okay.
Instantly S. Anyway, continue.
I'm not mad at that. Would I go S? I don't know. Just let's work through this. This is one of the most impactful albums, I feel, of the decade. Like, this just blew up. This was a moment. Metro curated a fucking phenomenal trap album here with heroes and villains. Every feature came in and did their thing, whether that be Travis on something like a Niagara Falls or Raindrops. Raindrops is so fucking underrated. The performances are great. Then, of course, you're getting that stellar Takeoff verse and Rocky verses, I should say, on Feel the Fire, which is my personal favorite track on the album.
Feel the Fire is a 10 track.
The fucking anthemic Superhero coming after On Time, which had a great vocal performance from John Legend, and Metro's production through this is stellar. I really don't have... I have, like, minor nitpicks on this album with, like, the Chris Brown feature on Superhero. I feel like that's kind of unnecessary. Like, should have just left it at Future.
I would just say, just jumping in on that little point, I'll say, I think that I liked the Chris Brown feature, but when you come off how fucking hard Superhero was, it's kind of like, I don't really want to hear this right now.
It's like, I feel like it should have just gone straight into the next track, or maybe if you really wanted to keep the Chris Brown thing, it could have been its own little interlude, like I Can't Save You.
I Can't Save You is one of the hardest interludes
so
ever,
good.
bro. I can't say. And then you've got, like, the speaking throughout it as well.
Also, the Rocky and Morgan Freeman narration give it such a cinematic feel.
Most of these hoes don't want to be saved.
I love how he saves Rocky for that last track as well. It's like you're getting him popping in throughout the album, then you just get him ripping it on Feel the Fire.
And I think also at that time, I don't remember the exact link, but it was recently fresh that we lost Takeoff.
Yeah,
so I think
this was
hearing
his
him on
first
that
posthumous
track,
feature.
it was
But
like,
such an incredible,
that's beautiful.
regardless, was such an incredible verse. That whole
100%.
alphabet scheme,
Insane.
fucking not seeing that often.
Dude, this album for me is just the definition of a 10 out of 10 album. It's perfect. Yeah, okay, I'm not listening to every track, right? But majority of this album, you can listen to them all and be like, oh my god. Production with Metro is flawless.
Yeah,
for me.
exactly.
And then you throw My Boy on there, you throw The Weeknd in there, and they redo. How many people do you know? Oh yeah, he's ripping it right now. How many people do you know who can take a classic which people grew up on, redo it, and then it's better? People always say, oh, the original's better. This is one of those tracks, nobody says the original is better. Creepin', they respect to Mario Winans, you made a banger, but come on, bro, The Weeknd stole that shit. That's a Weeknd track now.
I don't hate Creepin', I just sort of feel like it's... Look, nothing against the song, I just feel like in the grand scheme of the album, it's kind of like misplaced.
I get that, but
it's not going to take away from the album.
I thought you were going to say the OG's better. Then I was
no. Of course not.
I completely feel what you're saying, but I also think when creating this album, everything's kind of, I don't want to say dark because it's not as dark as like Alfredo in my mind. It does have a dark vibe throughout.
Like something like a Walk 'Em Down.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
but even superheroes like menacing.
Exactly.
That's honestly, why I'm like, it's a bit too bright, but I feel like it's a nice break in the album. You know what I mean?
I understand.
That's why I fuck
the
with
21 verse is like a bit mismatched, but whatever. That one song's not gonna change me. I think like
still,
obviously,
it's not even like you like the song. You know what I mean?
I like
you
the
just
song.
feel it doesn't fit.
Exactly. It's kind of like it's like a song on another album which we're gonna get to. I'll bring it up when we get there.
Look forward to that.
I think like
S,
obviously,
what do you say?
I can put it S. Like obviously, subject matter wise, it's not on the level of a Mr. Morale or anything like that. But like it's just a fucking fantastic album.
100%.
Like it's just great music. S. I'm happy putting it S.
Yeah,
I can go
I fucking
there.
love that album.
Next up, Magic 1 by Nas. Now, first off, I just gotta shout out Nas. What a fucking decade he's had. 6 albums in fucking 3 years. Crazy shit from Nas. And
consistency too.
Exactly. Could have brought in any of them, but I think Magic is a very special album.
100%. And especially because we're collabing here.
Yeah.
It's one that we both really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Magic was just an exceptional listen through cover to cover. And although I don't revisit it a whole lot, it's something that when I listen to it, I'm so happy to just listen to the whole thing, man.
Yeah, it's bite-sized, it's perfect replay value. It's like, it doesn't overstay. There's nothing I'd really cut on it either.
Yeah, I wouldn't cut anything.
Yeah.
I even love the visuals he put out. I think he did one, was it Meet Joe Black? No, he did the one with ASAP.
Rocky, fucking... Wave Gods. Wave Gods is my personal favorite track on the album.
Fire.
That the Primo Scratches Hit Boys production, it feels nostalgic to me.
It does.
Like you have Rocky talking about also like he was alluding to the fact that talking about how he was about to have a kid as well. That verse, like looking back on it, it's such a wholesome verse from Rocky. The performance is great. The Cartman bar, then getting Nas coming in, having like not the Rocky's newer gen, but just that.
No, compared to Nas. Nas is like...
It's a very New York track because you've got the Primo Scratches, you've got Rocky on it, and you've got Nas. Like, that's an incredible collaboration. Also, then just speaking about Nas and his performances on it, something like a Speechless, opening the album with that. And then also 4016 Building, and then Woo for the Children, and how he compared him, Frank White, and can't remember the other person, to Cold Drake and Kendrick, like it being that big three.
That.
That's such a great line as well. I think Nas's performances on this A1.
That's just another thing I'll say. Like you just said that, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
this is something I've listened to heavily with Nas. He's one of those rappers who can pack so much into a small project.
Exactly.
Like every time I listen to this, I find something else out, and now when I listen to it again, I'm gonna find that bar. But I fucking love this project, and it does sound like New York. So I would say, I can't put it in S though, as much as I love it. I'll give it an A.
I'd go A as well. I understand that. I think it's not as fleshed out as something like KD3 or KD2, but like it's a close to flawless album. Maybe if it was a little bit longer, I feel like maybe,
it needs a bit
but
more.
But like that's such a minor nitpick. I just feel like I can't put it S because it didn't have the obviously this we put heroes and villains there, but I was just gonna say, when I'm looking at the masterpiece that is Mr. Morale, or the impact of something like a heroes and villains, but like impact doesn't mean shit.
No, it does, because you got to think you've created something powerful.
Well, like in terms of ranking it, like obviously Cardi, I hold Whole Lotta Red highly just because of its impact and like what it did.
Yeah,
regardless of my feelings about it, I can't deny it.
I would say also on the topic of Magic, it was perfect for what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just this reminder that like Hit Boy and Nas weren't like this 2-hit wonder with their albums. It's like, no, they're a serious rapper producer duo. Like, and also like, me and Hit, we like the new Gangstar. That's crazy. That's such a good bar on the chorus of Wave Gods. But yeah,
I just wonder what's coming up next. I'll let you talk.
Alrighty, this is where
you do a speech. Go through everything. Because I'm about to crash out.
Scaring the Hoes by Peggy and Danny Brown. Now, let me just say, I really like this album. I love this album. It's so unique. I haven't heard anything like it. You were getting this sporadic nature throughout the entire thing. Danny Brown and Peggy are a match made in heaven. And then looking at the production, that's like a major highlight on this album. Again, it's so unique. Look at what the fuck Peggy did on Kingdom Hearts Key, sampling this random Japanese ad. Like, you were not finding an album that sounds like this on any other album.
That's for sure. You're not finding an album that sounds like this. Anyway, you still going, or?
No, I want you to jump in. We need
Bro. This is undoubtedly the worst album I have ever heard.
What?
And the reason
I knew he didn't like it, but I didn't know he didn't like it this much.
The reason that this album is so fucking atrocious is it baited me. Because I heard from you and countless other people saying, oh, you gotta leave JPEGMAFIA, oh, he's got like 7 mil or whatever the fuck it is. Danny Brown's got 2.9 mil on Spotify. So they got listeners. They're not like they got 100k, which is what I'd expect this from. I thought, oh, okay, let's go in. Then I play the first track. Starts off with some like sexy R&B vibes at the start, right? And I'm thinking, oh, damn, like this is about to be fire. And then it's going boom, boom, boom. Like, what the hell is that? It just feels like you talk about a track list being cohesive, right? The names of this track list are 10-10. The names are fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the names are hilarious.
The names are hilarious.
Jack
I'll
Harlow,
give it that.
Combo Meal.
The name is the highlight of the album for me. The music itself, each track doesn't even feel fucking coherent. I don't know what they thought they were doing.
But that's the point. It's such...
What? It's meant to be shit?
No, it's like meant to just be like, what the fuck am I listening? Like, in a good way, it's like so unpredictable. And you're getting that through Danny's performances and Peggy's as well. Like, look at Muddy Waters. You got Danny going over this like fucking crazy beat, and then it switches to this more menacing one, and then Peggy comes in, these addicts stick to me like Tom Holland. Like, that's
no, but when we say crazy beat, I refer to stuff like shit. Like when I'm listening
no, but
to
it's like
superhero. Not
it's
fucking
unique.
As many things you can throw in the sound at once and you're like, what the hell is that?
It's not convoluted to a point where it's unlistenable for me. It's like there's so much going on that it's like, oh my god, this is unlike anything I've ever heard. And I enjoy a lot of these beats, and also the chemistry between Peggy and Danny as well. Like on something like a Perfect, it's like, whoa, what the hell? This is crazy. Like in a good way.
I can't fuck with it. I can't.
Where would so you'd go D? I'd go A.
I'd bury it below D, bro. I can't.
I'd go A.
Hey, hold on. So you're putting this up with Nas, Kanye, Cole, Eminem. Like this,
but like I'm looking at the album. I'm looking at the album.
Alfredo.
This is a fantastic album.
So you're putting it on the same level as Alfredo.
I would have had a lot of these the albums in A and S, but like.
Okay, I get that, but still, I'm saying with this rating right now, you're putting it up there with that. That's insane.
Alright, do we have to bring in? Do we bring in the 10-cent coin?
Yeah.
Alright, this is gonna be for B or C.
Wait, no, because I'm in D.
Yeah,
you're
so
in
then
A. Oh.
So that we're meeting in the middle. So now it's back to this. If I win, it goes B. If you win, it'll go C. Or do you?
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Because we have to meet in the middle somehow. So,
of course. I'm on
heads or tails. Heads. Alright, that was a shit flip.
And by the way, I can't be pissed at that if it ends up in B because like this is a joint list. It's the mesh of our opinions.
Tails.
Tails. That's right. But I would fucking bury this album below the list.
That's
like this
crazy.
is the worst thing I've ever heard. Anyway, come to the comments. He loves it.
Donda 2.
But who's even defending this? What the fuck? Like
everyone.
How do people defend this shit? Like I don't understand. Listen, the day I hear this in the club, I will actually transfer you $100. Like genuinely.
I'm gonna next time I'm
you're gonna request. They're gonna tell you. They're gonna get security. Imagine you play Lee Beef Patty in the club. No, they're gonna say, "Get this guy the fuck out of here. He's been doing heroin." What the hell? I don't even think I never do drugs, but if I was fucking on meth, I wouldn't enjoy this album. It is terrible.
Oh my god! All right, Her Loss.
Oh god! All right,
Her Loss.
Also, now we can bring a ray of positivity. This is one of my favorite collab albums of all time, and I actually think. When I start thinking about rapper collabs, I can't really think of many. If you threw one at me, I might agree with you, but I actually think this is the best.
Kids See Ghosts.
I still put this on top.
Black Star.
Her Loss is the greatest.
Literally Outcast.
Still better. Her Loss is better than all other rapper duos. I would put this. Oh, my only issue is I don't know if I could put it in S. I would put it in A. I just think it's perfect. I fucking love it.
All right, let me tell you my issues with this album. It's not a bad album. I'm not saying that. It's not a bad album.
Nothing you can say now will make my rant before.
No, I'm not. I think this is a good album. Believe it or not.
No, I mean, like, I was saying,
there are standout tracks on this, like Rich Flex. I remember hearing that for the first time. I was like, oh shit! Like that was such a fun first listen. And then Middle of the Ocean, you're getting that introspective. It should have been the timestamp record of the album, in my opinion, but regardless, Middle of the Ocean, you're just getting fucking incredible rapping from Drake. But here's my thing. Someone did a breakdown, and I noticed this as well listening to it. Someone did a breakdown of the split between Drake and 21. This is not a collab album. This is a Drake album with multiple 21 features on it. And that's my gripe about it. It's like, it's not really, it just felt like a last minute collaboration. Like Drake was like, oh, you're featured on a bunch of these tracks, you want to just do a collab album?
The reason that I would disagree with you there is because he's so heavily featured.
And also, like, I feel like there are just some tracks on here that are a bit lackluster. Like, yeah, you've got your highs, Broke Boys, Rich Flex, Middle of the Ocean, but then something like a 7 a.m. in Glenwood, I'm just like,
yeah, I feel that.
Or even
I feel you.
I love Pussy in Millions, by the way. Pussy in Millions, that Travis feature is fantastic. No complaints there, but I don't know. It just feels like it could have been a bit more. A Drake and 21 collaboration. It should have had more Metro production as well.
Can I just
Circo Loco?
I like Circo Loco.
Again, Circo Loco's got like a first class effect on me. It's like they just sampled an old song from the 2000s and were like, call it a day. This is gonna go mega viral.
Well, I like Circo Loco. I'm not super crazy about it. I do love it. Like if I hear it out, I'm like, oh, that's mad. I would prefer to hear the sample if I was out.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I still like that track. I really like that track. I shouldn't dial it down. But one of my favorite Drake songs ever, in Hours of Silence, is on this album. I can't look past that.
I got a hot take that's gonna
go. Let's hear it.
Hours of Silence is not all that. It's decent.
Wait, this is my house. No, Deadass, I don't understand how you can say that. Like, okay, I sort of do from you, but I feel like it's very much it's a rap song with an R&B feel. It's meant to be. It's melancholic. It's just like leave your phone.
Yeah, but if I want something like that, I'll go to The Weeknd and get it better.
Yeah, I get that. But
Drake's got better songs in that vein.
Yeah, he does. But Hours in Silence. With Drake, I mean, Hours in Silence. There's something special about it. It's like when you're driving home at 2-3 in the morning by yourself and you listen to that song. It's cold outside. You get that Toronto feel, which we get very much. We're from the M, so we get to feel like we're in Toronto.
We don't get snow here, though.
No, not snow, but I'm saying like we get those city vibes. You know what I mean? True. Like we don't live next to a
I feel
beach.
like Melbourne, out of every city in the world, though, it's like kind of closest to. It's a mix of New York and San Francisco.
I reckon it's very close to Toronto.
Actually, you know what? I have heard that. It's a blend.
I haven't been, by the way, but I'm
it's
just
a blend of a bunch of cities.
I think New York's too busy for us to match.
But it is, because we're like, in terms of Australia, Melbourne is like
our New York.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that.
Like Anyway, that's a conversation for another day.
I love privileged rappers, and Spin 'Bout You. I fell in love with that track. I was so in love with that track. I actually found the original girl who sang on the track, Ubi. Shout out to Ubi. Her original track, I bumped that as well, because that's a phenomenal track. Give Me Your Love, or Give Me Your Lovin', or whatever it's called. That Spin 'Bout You is insane to me, and there's a lot of highlight. Obviously, opening the album the way that they did. This is exceptional to me. I still stand by.
Where are you going?
I don't know what I said before. I would put it in S, but I'm happy to put it in A.
I'd go B probably. Just like I'm looking. It's not on. It's better than Whole Lotta Red, but I don't think it's on the level of anything above what we've got in A and S. That's my opinion. So if you're going, where are you?
I'll go A.
Coin flip.
No, but okay, yeah.
Because I'd go B. Yeah. Unless
I feel like it's extremely harmful to have it next to Scaring the Hoes. Anyway, continue. This is a mesh. This is a mesh. That's all good.
Because in my opinion, it's not on the level of a Magic, an Off-Season, Death System Shady. I think Donda's better. Alfredo.
But you also got to remember they're albums that someone's making like a singular album. It's easier to make something like that on a solo project. But then, this is producer rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Heroes and Villains. Yeah, Metro's creating something. It's not like Drake's a producer and he's gone out and sourced everyone.
Yeah.
Rapper for rapper, I thought, wow, this is fucking perfect. Because you also got to remember, it's hard to do. It's hard to have two rappers make an album together that's like, oh, this is actually really good. Because a lot of the time it's, this guy, I get what you're saying, yeah, we didn't get enough Savage for it to be a collab album. I sort of see you, but I also disagree. But I just think they
I just expected more from 21 on this album.
I get that, that's fair.
Alright.
Flip it, let's see.
You sure?
Yeah. No, it's a mesh, of course.
Because I just can't bring myself to put it in amongst what's in A tier.
I feel that. Yeah. I get that.
It's kind of like you with Scaring the Hoes. Sorry.
Scaring the Hoes shouldn't be near the list.
Oh my god, I fucked up the flip again.
We should do a part 2. I've thought of
heads?
some more albums. Yeah, always heads. Tails?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, this guy keeps winning now.
Alright.
Seeing my boy in B just hurt. Anyway.
Alright, Savage Mode 2.
This is...
I really fuck with this album. I fuck with this album. Do I think it is on the... Spoiler alert, cut to the chase. Do I think it's on the level of what's in A or S? No, but... Listen.
I'm listening.
You're getting some all-time 21 tracks, like the fucking menacing aura of a Glock in my lap, Many Men, like fuck me. Bro. Like it's a great album. Do not get me wrong. I think it's my second favorite Metro and Savage collab. I hold Without Warning in very high regard. I think that's like the epitome of a Metro collab album.
Okay, that's respectable. That's a respectable take, for sure.
I think this one, a little bit bloated, and like I was saying before about Creepin' being misplaced on
Mr. Right Now.
Exactly.
I knew you'd say that.
Mr. Right Now. I feel like they should have done a swap, and Knife Talk should have been on...
Yeah, that was the swap. Yeah. It was like that. I don't know why they did that. Yeah,
Mr. Right Now feels like it belongs in CLB. I like Mr. Right Now. I think I really like the production on it.
It's a CLB track, though.
Yep.
You know what? Yeah, you're right about that. This album is one of my favorite rap albums ever. So like I've got a lot of bias towards it. I just feel like everything plays into each track so well. Metro went crazy on production. 21's just 21. Glock in My Lap, I was infatuated with that song for so long, and I still love it. I love Mr. Right Now. I do agree with you. It probably would have been better on CRB. Yeah. I still love it.
I enjoy the track. I basically enjoy every track on here. I just feel like maybe...
So what's bloated for you? So, like, I love Slide In, My Dog. I really used to love Rest in Peace to Love, which is...
I love that as well, the Nas sample on that. I fuck with that.
That's a nice track.
I think just maybe... I don't know if you need... Don't kill me. I don't know if you need Slide In.
Okay, that's alright.
I do enjoy Mr. Right Now, but again, I just don't feel like it fits.
Yeah, but you would transfer it as opposed to...
Yeah, but like if the transfer's not going to happen, I just wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, but that's 2 tracks, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit bloated.
I kind of see it. But I mean, like, okay, majority of the time, I would say 9 out of 10 times...
But like, I'm not going to skip the tracks.
Albums will never have a perfect track list in terms of... 9 out of 10 times. You have your...
And again, exemplars. I'm not going to skip these tracks when I bump Savage Mode 2. I just think... Could have been a bit... Yeah.
I remember listening to it over and over and over on the PlayStation. It's just an album that, for me, doesn't go stale. And I really enjoyed how even, like, for example, for me, Love Debate anyway, I don't even need to because it's just my personal preference. 50 Cent is the greatest gangster rapper of all time. No one will match him, and it's more about what he did on the streets, how he's spent his life, the way that he thinks, and his music on top of that, because it's all authentic. When you take Many Men, and there's been, like, probably 5 really good examples that are... Well, 5 good examples that are worth considering, because I'm sure everyone's sampled Many Men. This is one of them. The Many Men sample
This is fire. The best Many Men sample I've heard.
I would say... I love Got It On Me as well by Pop. But this... I would agree. This is probably... Yeah, I would agree. That's
where are you going with the album, though?
I would say... I would put it... I throw it around a lot. I would give it S, but I'm happy to put it A. I'm cool with A. Where would you go?
B, but like...
B?
I'll budge with you for this one.
You would put it in A?
Because I
feel
think
like
I think it's better than all. I don't. It's not better than Scaring the Hose, but everything else we've got.
How the fuck can you say that? I don't get that.
Everything else we've got.
How is that? Okay, hold on. Just everyone listen. Now we're keeping the cameras rolling now, right? I'm gonna pick a number 1 to 10. Lower's better.
7.
A 7? Okay, that's cool.
He's pulling up the track list on his monitor.
Oh, so it doesn't even come up. Here we go. Track 7.
I love this song.
Alright, sure, let's hear it. That's 10 seconds, right? Like his voice sounds like he's on helium, bro.
That's Danny Brown.
Danny Brown, fuck Danny Brown. 7. Okay. I couldn't have known what you would pick. Track 7. The whole time. Both sides.
It can go A. It's an A.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but I still think overall, it's like you chose the best track on the album to put it up against. No, I'm saying, but like that's what ended up happening. Scaring the Hose is a more unique album.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. But very.
It's
very
unlike
much.
Scaring the Hose, and I enjoy every work of hip hop. I just think Scaring the Hose.
Yeah,
is
I know, but I wouldn't even call it.
Let's just move on.
We could talk about.
We're
gonna has been in every discussion since.
We're gonna both agree on this one now. S. Yep.
Instantly.
What a moment. I'll just
adapt that for Trav.
Yeah.
That is a perfect album.
Yeah. What I say, I don't. Yeah. Well, I like a couple tracks that I'm like. Not even tracks, just the only thing that I'm not really big on is the Rob 49 verse. But anyway, let's just give Trav his flowers right now.
That's a perfect album, man, and a perfect moment for you and me.
I will never forget hearing this album for the first time.
Yeah,
Hyena, that production with the mandolins coming in, I never expected to hear Trav on something like that. His rapping performances on this album. Like, obviously he's not fucking Black Thought with his bars, even Travis will tell you that.
No, but his
flows and the cadences he's hitting, incredible. I have no faults for Travis. Like, this is more than I expected from him rapping wise, and it just took me back to those couple mixtapes, Alfaro and Days Before Rodeo, which have they hold a special place in my heart. So getting an album like that where Travis going back to that more rap centric side of him rather than. Obviously, you're getting the psychedelic performances, but like that blend, that merging of them, this is why I love Travis Scott so much. My Eyes being one of my favorite ever Travis songs, actually fucking songs of the decade so far. And the subject matter on that as well. The contrast in performances on that first half and second half, and the speeds he's rapping out. Like, are we gonna ignore that? And then, of course, all the features, like hearing them on first listen, like the surprises.
Nailed the features.
Fucking Meltdown, getting that Drake verse, which is kind of a precursor to the Drake and Kendrick beef, because you get the, I don't like you popping shit at Pharrell. For him, I inherit the beef. Like, that was where that came from. I liked hearing Beyonce and Trav. That was a collaboration I didn't expect to hear.
That was good.
21 had some good performances. Getting some Metro production. Cuddy on Love. Cuddy slid on that beat. The Pharrell production on that was great.
And I'm not even the biggest Cuddy supporter, but that was
very
insane.
unique production on this album as well. God's Country, Telekinesis. How can we forget about that?
Some of these tracks we've known about from like
Yay Leaks. Yeah, old
Leaks.
Donda scraps. And Travis, I'm happy that they got released. S tier album. Again,
Future Bounce to Telekinesis is probably the biggest musical glow up I've ever seen.
What about Hurricane though?
Oh, Hurricane, yeah. I'm sorry to Ann Clemens, bro, but The Weeknd. Hurricane's insane. Wrong album.
Look, again, subject matter, obviously, it's not a Mr. Morale, but I'm looking holistically at everything. S tier. Album of the year for 2023, by the way.
I look, I'm not gonna, I would probably agree with you, but I'm not gonna say that unless I look back at everything. But
what else would you actually?
That
year was dry.
You probably put most of it here, so I would probably say compared to Heroes and Villains, that's my only. I probably would.
Heroes
say.
and Villains
I
is
think I did say
2022 though.
Utopia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then it would be Utopia.
The only thing for you that I can imagine would have made a push was For All the Dogs.
Oh, I forgot about For All the Dogs. Oh fuck. I really love For All the Dogs, but I think maybe Utopia's got to take it because Utopia is pretty special. Not that For All the Dogs isn't, but it was more like this was Trav's moment. This was just like a big banger Drake album, but Trav really crafted something with this.
All right.
I'll have that debate a different day.
Let's just keep going on with this. Pray for Paris by West Side Gun.
I say this is a good album. I like, it's definitely nowhere near perfect or anything like that. Replay value isn't insane, but it's a really solid album. Listen through is nice. I would say, quality-wise, I'd put it in B. Overall listening value might even drop it to C for me. Let's hear it.
I could say this is the best Griselda album. I think this proves how much of a master curator Westside Gunn is. The production on this throughout is phenomenal. Be that the J Versace beats you're getting, Alchemist on a 500 ounces. I was thinking
That's the best track.
500 ounces. That
500
Freddie
ounces.
feature. Oh my god. 327 though. Joey, Tyler, Westside Gunn on the
Joey
same
was
track.
fire.
Billy
I actually
Esco.
listened to Joey at the gym today on that track.
Yeah. Like the highs on this album are so high. George Bondo. I could put this S tier.
Fuck. That's crazy. That's crazy.
If you're going B and I'm going S, like I don't know, like
I'll
Westside
agree.
Gunn-
I'll let you put it in A.
It's like
If
this is
it's
the
like- that's
epitome of
another-
like luxury rap in my opinion.
You reckon?
Yup.
But what is luxury rap to you? Because to me, it's like
Obviously,
pimp
like Rick
music.
Ross and everything like that, but like
I feel
know
like
this
it's
is like
different.
this
I put
is
it on
this is
scale rap.
but this is like high art. Look at even the cover, the Virgil cover.
The cover is insane.
The
Yeah, I
production,
agree.
it just-
it's very artistic.
It's luxury. It feels luxury when I'm listening to it. Something like a 327.
It's still
The
dope
braggadocio-
dealer music to me, which I love.
Yeah, it's like
but,
it's Griselda.
Yeah.
This is the epitome of Griselda to me. I'm good with A though. If you want to go, if
I'm
you're gonna
good
go
with that,
B,
yeah.
I
would
was gonna
say
go
B.
S.
I would say when I say the only thing that drops it to C is replay value. That's personally, I just don't listen to
Yeah.
it all that much.
Okay.
But I first listen, I was like, okay, wow, he's spitting here. This is hard. It's cold. It's dark. But he nailed Griselda's feel. You're so right.
Yeah.
I still prefer Benny. Benny's my favorite member.
For my favorite Griselda album is between this and Burden of Proof. Both released in 2020. I could have brought it in, but Burden of Proof. But
Well,
anyway.
we could do a part 2 because
Yeah,
we've got
we
a
could.
few albums we could throw
could.
in.
All right.
We'll see how it goes. Like and subscribe, guys. Anyway, continue. Final album.
Final album for the tier list. Let's end it on a high note. Call Me If You Get Lost. What an album. Getting that DJ drama narration, taking it back to those old mixtapes, like getting that DJ drama feel. And like Tyler sort of created a wave because you saw DJ drama popping out in a lot of albums after this. Like you had him on the Dreamville mixtape. Cuddy got him for Insano. Even Logic had him pop up like on one track on Ultra 85. But anyway, yeah, this is a special project. So that's it. This is an album in the way that Utopia like takes like Astro. Sorry, it's an album.
journey.
Yeah, Astro World. You go to Astro World or Utopia. You just feel like you're in this other dimension. I feel like I am on this like luxury trip with Tyler going through this. It is like braggadocious as fuck. It is luxury as fuck. You're getting hot wind blows. You're getting like the narration from DJ Drama that makes you feel like you're in different places. The visuals as well for this album really help in accompanying that. But then you're getting Sweet, I Thought You Wanted to Dance. What a song. Hot Wind Blows as well. Like the rapping performances from Wayne and Tyler on that are both fantastic. Like that's a great Wayne feature. Lumberjack, like I know you
Insane
fuck with
feature.
Lumberjack.
Yeah, dude, I fuck with a lot of tracks on this album, to be honest. I really love What's Your Name, which
What's
is
your
which is
name?
a
Yeah.
big-
Again, it's just a great blend. Like obviously,
feels
this is
like summer,
This
like a
is
summer
probably
album.
Tyler's most rap centric album. But again, you're getting songs like "What's Your Name?" That Ty Dolla $ign hook is infectious. Young Boy actually fucking does great on it.
He delivered.
Yeah,
that
he
was
delivered.
a hard fucking... well, not hard, but like that was a really good verse. I think, yeah, as you said, the album feels like a holiday.
Yeah.
And that's what he wanted to do as well. And even the cover shows you that. It's about him
Yeah,
traveling.
the passport. Yeah.
The visuals were cool for this album as well. And one thing about Tyler I like, which I don't know how much he really does it anymore, but back with this album, his music videos would sometimes even be like 30 seconds to a minute, and then it
Yeah,
makes
he
you
did
want to
that with
go on.
Chromacopia.
He
Like,
still
with
did
the
that?
teaser tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, with the teasers. But I'm saying, like, I like that it makes you kind of like... You might think, oh, I want the full track on a music video, but it pushes you to go and listen to the full track. And these tracks, his fan base go hard for these tracks live as well. So you got to respect it. I would give this track an A, in my opinion.
I'm around S or A. You know, let's just agree. Because do I think it's on the level of a Mr. Maybe. For me, it's on the level of a Heroes and Villains in Utopia. I'll go A though. Whatever.
Okay.
Like it's.
I'd put it in S.
I'd
but
personally
I'll put it in
go.
A.
I'd maybe go S, but I can go with A.
I think the
just because it
experience
took-
is worth a lot more. The experience is fantastic, but it's like I'm not
It's such an-
individually picking every single
also, it
track
doesn't
out.
overstate Welcome either. It's a perfectly curated album, but anyway, that brings us to the end of the tier list. Let us know how we did down below. Where'd we fuck up? Where'd we get it right?
Go crazy. Let's hear it.
Thank you for being on the channel
Thank you,
again.
brother.
Like,
Good to
this
see
is a
you.
fun video to film. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more videos. See you in the next one. Bye. Okay.
Maximum style and magnitude. Oh yeah.